Hey, you crazy kids. Today we are in Genesis chapter 24. It's the continuing adventures of Abraham and Isaac and all our biblical patriarch guys. This is amazing stuff. In Genesis 24:1, it says this: Abraham was now very old. He had seen many years come and go. The Eternal One has blessed his life in every imaginable way. Here's Abraham. Abraham is gotten very old. Sarah has died, and so it's just him and Isaac. So he's a little concerned about that because he knows his time is coming and he doesn't want to leave his son all alone. So he calls his senior servant to him, and we don't even know this guy's name, but we know he is a faithful servant. We know that Abraham really trusts him. So Abraham calls him. He goes to Abraham and he's like, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go find a son, a wife. Go find a woman for my boy. And in those days, there was no Match.com. There was no eHarmony. So he had to take a road trip. He takes a serious road trip. It's about 450 miles. So the road trip there and back would take about a month. It's a long road trip. And he goes and he gets there and he's got 10 thirsty camels. And he prays this real specific prayer. Okay? And he's like, God, show me. Whoever waters my camels, let that be the one. Let that be the woman. So Rebecca comes along and she brings water for him, and then she's like, let me water your camels too. And camels can get pretty thirsty. And 10 thirsty camels can drink some serious water. So she brought about 250 gallons of water. So it took a while. And this girl is a hard worker. This girl has a heart to serve. And the Bible tells us that she's smoking hot too. It's in there. Okay, read it. Genesis chapter 24. She's smoking hot. Oh, so he brings it, and the servant is looking at her, and he thinks, this might be the one. So he prays, and then he gives her a nose ring, which is a pretty special thing, I guess, back then, and visits with her family, and it's decided that she is the one. He takes her back. Now he's praying for signs. He's praying for a real specific sign of God's will. And he's like, God, if this is your will, if this is your woman for Isaac, then show me this. Let her do this. Let her do that. And a lot of times we do the same thing. We pray these bold prayers of direction. God, if you want me to do this, then I pray that this would happen. That I would get a phone call from an Albanian camel herder, and they would tell me this. And we get real specific, and we tell God, I want you to do this, and I want you to do this, and I want you to do this. Here's the deal. God promises guidance, and He promises us that He will always be with us. His presence will always be with us. He will guide us, but He doesn't necessarily promise these clear external signs. He doesn't give us a timeline. He doesn't promise us a timeline. He doesn't say, okay, you follow me, and I'm going to let you know that on January 12th, 2014, you're going to meet the woman of your dreams, and then the following year, you'll buy a house. And He doesn't give us a timeline like that, because I think if we had that, we would take it and run. If God gave us all the answers right up front, we would take it and run. And we would be like, okay, thanks, God, I don't need you anymore. And He wants us to be dependent on Him every day. He wants, it's all about just getting to know Him. It's all about spending time with Him. God's will and learning God's will and knowing God's will comes from staying close to God and hearing His voice and obeying His word. It's not all about visible evidence of God. Our faith can't be about that. Our faith can't be about what we see. Our faith has to be about what we know in our heart and what we trust and what we believe, and listening for His voice and getting close to Him every day and really hearing what He has to say. That's what finding God's will is really all about. It's not about praying for a specific sign. It's about, Lord, what do you have for me today? Have a great day.